Hello and welcome. I am Gimba Umar. Tonight, Borno State Governor Babagana Umara vows to arm civilian JTF and other vigilante groups for the new phase in the fight against insurgency in the state. President Buhari to host summits of the Lake Chad Basin Commission leaders on June the 12th to strategize against terrorism in the region, says that he's ready to face threats with full force. World Health Organization calls for stringent enforcement of laws aimed at reducing the use of tobacco as death toll from its usage continue to rise. And authorities revealed identity of 12 people killed after a gunman fired on his colleagues at a municipal building in the U.S. city of Virginia Beach.
On Business News tonight, electronic payments transactions hit 34 trillion naira across the country in the first quarter of 2019.
And on sports news tonight, Liverpool cruised the 6th UEFA Champions League title at the Wanda Metropolitano Stadium in Madrid with a 2-0 victory over Premier League rivals Tottenham.
A special prayer session by some Muslim faithful in Sajari community of Borno State has been cut short following an attack by Boko Haram insurgents in the early hours of today. It's the first major attack by the insurgents in the state since Governor Babagana Umara assumed office. The governor is, however, giving residents of the state the assurance that he would empower local hunters and civilian joint task force volunteers to complement the efforts of the security agencies in the state.
Security operatives combing the scene of the early morning attack on worshippers at this mosque in Sajari, a small community on the outskirts of Maiduguri. Some of the injured are yet to come to terms with the reality that they almost lost their lives during the special Ramadan prayers when the bandits struck. It's the first attack on any Borno community since Governor Babagana Umara assumed office, and he is left with no option than to visit Sajari to see for himself the level of damage done and to give the people the assurance of better security.
People have voted us into power with a view to ensuring that properties and lives of the citizens are being protected. One of the cardinal objectives of the government is to protect the citizens. And therefore, I shall do everything possible within my reach to protect the people.
The heavy presence of security operatives is a subtle relief to the residents. But Governor Umara believes more can be done by empowering local hunters and the civilian joint task force volunteers.
I've heard from the civilian JTF they are looking for a vehicle. We shall give them the vehicles, 3 in number by Monday. In addition to this, we shall provide food items to them, we shall provide guns to them, and then in collaboration with the military, we shall involve the Legion, the hunters and the vigilante and civilian JTF to take charge of what is going on.
Normalcy has since returned to Sajari, and these people only hope that the governor will fulfill his promises by ensuring better security of lives and property.
And while the insurgents almost had a field day in Sajari community, wreaking havoc there, some of their fighters were, however, unlucky as they met their Waterloo in neighboring Abuganaram village. The Nigerian Air Force says that it has severely degraded a terrorist hideout in the village as it continues its onslaught against remnants of the Islamic State of West Africa province, ISWAP, on the fringes of the Lake Chad. Air Force spokesperson Comrade Ibikunle Daramola explains that the latest attack, which was carried out yesterday, May 31st, 2019, was executed following the discovery of the active terrorist settlements by Nigerian Air Force intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance platform on a routine mission. In response to that, the Air Force Task Force scrambled 2 Alpha Jets aircrafts to attack the location. The strikes were said to have scored accurate hits on 3 target compounds, which resulted in the destruction of the structures as well as the killing of some of their fighters. In the meantime, President Muhammad Buhari has been worried about the trend of insecurity in the country, particularly the effects of shrinking Lake Chad Basin on states hosting the monumental water body. That explains why he would be hosting leaders of countries of the Lake Chad Basin for an informal summit on June the 12th. The summit will hold on the sidelines of the Democracy Day celebrations and will be an avenue for the leaders to discuss new strategies to end the menace of Boko Haram in the Lake Chad region. President Buhari mentioned this at a bilateral meeting with President Idris Deby of Chad Republic in Mecca, Saudi Arabia, where both leaders are attending the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, the OIC summit. President Buhari explains that since the elections were now over, he will have more time to pursue the threats of terrorism with full force. And staying with security and safety of lives, the wife of the president, Aisha Buhari, has been speaking on the plight of the more than 25,000 internally displaced persons in Katsina and Batsari local government areas of Katsina State, and she's asking the government to come to their aid. The president's wife commiserates with the displaced persons who were victims of the 8 frontline local government areas ravaged by the activities of armed bandits in the state. She also asked security agencies in the country to immediately come to the aid of the villagers before the bandits kills everyone. High point of the president's wife visit is the distribution of food items and other relief materials to the IDPs. She also asked them if they have at any point in time benefited from the federal government's social investment programs.
From what we have seen here is beyond the strength of a state alone to control what is happening here or to take care of the IDPs. Though they say they have already gone back to their houses, like half of them. So we thank the security agencies for working very hard. And also I would like to call on the DG of NEMA to come and see what is happening in Katsina. And also the Refugee Commission to come and see the Commissioner, Hajiya Sadiya, to come and see what is happening. Wadansu suna magana ba su samu ba. Akwai wanda suka samu tallafi 10,000 nan daga wajen shugaban kasa. Ban ji ba. This is a state where we got 1.2 million votes free of charge. We did not pay anybody to vote for us. They voted for us out of trust and they need to be taken care of. Whatever that's due for them, they need to get it. We don't need to fight for it.
Members of a Christian community in Kona, Ardo Kola local government area of Taraba State have held a church service in remembrance of 51 of their Kingsmen killed by bandits suspected to be herdsmen over a month ago. The attacks, which claimed lives and property worth millions of naira, is the most in recent times in the spate of civil unrest in the state. It has also rendered residents of the affected communities homeless.
May the 7th, 2019, a day indigents of Kona in Adokola local government area of Taraba State will not forget in a hurry. This is as a result of a clash between farmers and herders that claimed 51 lives across the 11 affected villages, leaving over 8,000 persons displaced. Barely 1 month after, the people of Kona hold a remembrance mass in honor of the 51 victims at the Church of Assumption. The officiating minister, Reverend Father Sirakus Kanai, prays for the bereaved and injured. He also calls on the state government to ensure the permanent resettlement of the displaced.
The Kona people are a peace-loving people. We do not subscribe to violence. Jesus teaches us to always forgive our enemies, bless them that curse us, and pray for them that persecute us.
The people look forward to carrying on with their daily activities.
Ta yi kokari ta tallafa musamman iyalan waɗannan 'yan uwanmu da sun rigaye mu. Sa'alin nan yanzu dai mun san yanayin da muke ciki, a yawancin su mazannan karkara ne.
A samu a yi sulhu don a samu a zauna lafiya. Don muna lokacin damuna akwai noma, in ba an zauna an fahimci juna an yi ba zai zama bana ba za a yi noma ba kenan.
Speaking elsewhere on the incident, the state governor, Darius Ishaku, believes insecurity in the state can be tackled more effectively if state policing is implemented.
Believe you me, if I had the state police, I would have stopped all the rubbish that is happening. I assure you I would have stopped it. You can't get to Takum until you get a policeman and soldiers to accompany you into Takum. You can't get out of Takum until you get a policeman soldier to accompany you out.
Taraba is one of the states in the northeast that have come under a series of attacks ranging from kidnapping to armed robbery and communal clashes, amongst others. The government insists that development can only be achieved in an atmosphere of peace, and that is one thing the people of Kona look forward to.
The politics now. The majority leader of the Senate and aspirant for the role of Senate President in the 9th Assembly, Senator Ahmed, is asking political parties to put aside party positions and work to meet the needs of Nigerians. The lawmaker revealed that the next few days his campaign team will be meeting with the caucus of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, in the Senate. He says that he's expecting the senators-elect from the PDP to endorse him for the position of Senate President.
We are expecting the PDP senators-elect to, all of them, have an understanding with us and endorse me as a caucus. Our platforms are simply the vehicles that will convey everybody. We have our beliefs, even as political parties. But whatever your belief is, and whatever your political party is, the belief must be centrally looking at one thing. How do I contribute to making legislative interventions that will make this country better? I believe that we should demolish the barriers right from now. We should think of how to come together, all of us that will be in the 9th Senate, work out how we can make those interventions that will be needed helpful to the administration, to the executive arm of government.
The World Health Organization, the WHO, is asking countries around the world to double their efforts to enforce laws aimed at reducing the use of tobacco as the death tolls from the usage continues to rise. According to the global organization, in Africa alone, more than 37,000 deaths occurred in 2018. The statistics of tobacco users continues to rise despite the increase in danger.
The 31st day of May every year is set aside by the World Health Organization, the WHO, to create awareness on the dangers of tobacco usage. Globally, the WHO says over 600 million people die annually from the use of tobacco, and that over 80% of these deaths are from low and medium income earning countries, including Nigeria. This perhaps informed the Nigerian government's decision to enact the National Tobacco Control Act in 2015. However, the law has not deterred tobacco users, as over 20 billion sticks of cigarettes are still being consumed in the country yearly. Experts say the existing law is weak.
We have a National Tobacco Control Act, which was passed in 2015. Unfortunately, the act had a clause which was inserted to our own, our own thinking by the tobacco industry. And that clause is for a regulation to be passed a second time by the National Assembly. Nowhere in the world has that ever happened. The act is passed once. But this time around we had a clause, and the clause says a national tobacco regulation must be passed a second time by the National Assembly to ensure effective implementation of the act. So the truth is that single sentence is what has totally weakened the Tobacco Control Act. But there's good news. 2 days ago, the National Assembly approved, both the House of Reps and the Senate approved the National Tobacco Regulations.
At this conference to mark the 2019 World No Tobacco Day in Abuja, the World Health Organization is asking government to, as a matter of urgency, enforce tobacco control policies aimed at reducing the demand for tobacco.
I urge governments to adopt and enforce tobacco control policies aimed at reducing the demand for tobacco, promoting tobacco cessation, and adequately treating tobacco dependence. Member states should respond to the tobacco epidemic by fully implementing the provisions of the World Health Organization's Framework Convention on Tobacco Control.
The Nigeria 2012 Adult Tobacco Survey reveals that 4.5 million adults in Nigeria use tobacco. 4.1 million of this population are men, and another 6.4 million non-smokers are exposed to secondhand smoking and its hazards. The World Health Organization says over 16,000 Nigerians die annually from complications related to tobacco usage. Reasons why experts say the government must act fast to control the use of tobacco.
In part two, after the break, we turn our attention to the out-of-school phenomenon, which remains a challenge, especially in the northern part of the country. Please stay with us.